Greetings from Hopalong Hollow. Mr. Peabody says good morning to you because it's always a happy day when you have a full tail. And that's what all the peacocks do early in the morning and all day long. Spread their feathers and do the peacock dance. And as you can see, they're trying to impress the chickens this morning. But the chickens are never impressed with the peacocks. Anyway, it's a cloudy day today, and you can see that the trees still are just starting to fill out a little bit on the herb garden this morning because that's where I've been working, and because herbs are so easy to grow that anyone can do it. And if you're a new gardener, this is a really great place to start, is with herbs. They're delicious to use, they're beautiful to grow, they're easy to grow, they don't take up much space. In fact, the first garden I ever had off my porch was a little herb garden. It was about 5 foot by 8 foot. And I just loved that little garden. You know, and this one isn't that much bigger. The Colonial herb garden it's centered with a very large pot. I would guess that this is about 20 inches in diameter. That's where we put one of the grace roses. And there she is. She's going to be an apricot color. And then I put the nasturtium seeds. These are just the yellow and orange nasturtiums. But you can see that we had a freeze, and a lot of these little guys just froze, but I think they're going to come back, and some of them did just fine, as you can see on that one. So surrounding this was full of oregano last year, and not oregano, I'm sorry, thyme. And the chickens pretty much annihilated it, and yet all that's left are these little dry patches. But I do believe that thyme grows on old wood, and as you can see, that's exactly what it's doing. So I'm not going to remove any of this wood, and we'll see if it revives. But I'll also sprinkle it with some seed, just because we don't want to take any chances, and we want to have some time in this garden. I liberated some more strawberry plants from the strawberry patch in the potager. So they're a little bit wilted right now. Some of them are from last year, but there weren't nearly enough. So there might be, I don't know, maybe 20 or 30 strawberry plants in this particular triangle. We did some beautiful lamb's ear last year. This was also transplanted from another garden, and it's looking very healthy and beautiful. Nice little patch of lamb's ear. Don't you love lamb's ear? It is so soft and such a beautiful grayish green color. Behind that, some oregano is returning. It's always exciting to see your plants returning, isn't it? So here we have some lovely patches of oregano, and in the corner, a comfrey that we put in last year. Basically, we really did plant this whole garden last year, although this has been in the makings for quite some time. Now I have a nice little empty patch and want to sprinkle some seed in here, so we're going to talk about that. And then over here, looks like a whole bunch of nothing, but yesterday I sprinkled some more chive seed in here, and it has some from last year, but this seems to take quite a long time to really get going. And back here I'm always thrilled when I see patches of bee balm, Monarda, because it smells better than anything else in the garden except for rosemary. That rosemary that I said looked dead as a doornail, well, I don't trust it. But I scraped the trunk, and it is still green. So I moved it over here, and maybe it might survive. We shall see. That's all you can do is try. I liberated some cilantro from the potager and moved it into this little section here, also leaving me another big section to fill in some kind of seed. Vast improvement over last week's view of this garden because it's been cleaned up, the soil's been freshened, compost has been added, new fresh soil in the pots so that things can be planted in those pots. Probably herbs we don't use that much, like parsley, I don't know, I'll have to think about that, other things, but I do have a few herb seeds that I could definitely use in here. Now, this corner looks like it's empty and it could be used for something, but it's actually not, because if I get down really, really close, there's a weed. Really, this is elephant garlic. What is that doing here? But anyway, this is where a big dwarf Joe Pye lives, but it's not that dwarf because it goes about 4 foot tall. But I thought maybe it was dead until I really took a look. And I can see the little red sprouts coming up right here and here. So sometimes you might think you've lost a plant, if you really get down and look at it, you'll be so amazed when you find out that it's just coming back stronger than ever. So this is going to take up the entire corner. So one thing you can do to wake up your garden in the spring is to give it a nice big meal. And the way I'm going to do that with these hukuras, which are right here on under the pergola, just off this little courtyard and next to the herb garden. I'm going to leave these leaves here because these leaves, I'll let these remain because these just are going to be a lot of great organic material, and I'm going to just dump a whole lot of compost right on top of these. It'll make it look prettier, more tidy, and it'll give it a nice meal for the next coming weeks. So these are beautiful. I just put these in last year, and the colors on these are just a remarkable look at all these different shades. Pink, chartreuse, and orange in autumn, and then we've got these beautiful purple ones. I think the colors on these leaves, I don't know that there's anything that can compare when it comes to foliage as the hukura, and I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but I like the sound of that, hukura. So we'll give this a nice big meal of compost right now. It's a little tidier, and the black just makes the colors stand out even more. Last year I sprinkled some forget-me-not seed in here too, and it was just beautiful to see those tiny little sky blue flowers popping up amongst these incredible colors. It seemed like a strange contrast, but it really worked out well. So we might do that again this year. Started to sprinkle this morning. We're just not having very good luck with our weather today. One of the herbs I think I'm going to put in here is borage because it likes shady areas, and as I mentioned before, there's a lot of shade in this garden in the early morning, and it only grows 24 inches tall, and it can be added to salads. It's got pretty little blue flowers that you can often use to garnish your salads or your cakes or your cupcakes or anything like that, and it's very great pollinator. So I'm going to put a little borage in here towards the back where it's more shady. I've already sprinkled a lot of chive, and it's good to have color, beautiful colors in your herb garden. So, I mean, if I got the little blues and my little purple chives, and I've got the yarrow, which is yellow and white and pink, and then the catmint, this is going to be a lovely herb garden. Then, of course, I have to have some basil, but this basil grows 30 inches tall, and it cannot tolerate freezing temperatures, so I'm not going to put this in until it gets a little bit warmer here in the spring. Probably in about a week we should be okay on the basil. And I cannot help but grow some leeks. So far I've never had any luck with leeks, but I think I have a little bit of room for them in here, and since they only grow 16 inches tall, I think I can put those in front of those lamb's ear. Thank you for joining me on another early morning coffee walk in the garden, and you'll be surprised to know that there'll be several videos this week. I'm making a pie time and tea video with a beautiful Easter pie, and then we'll have our traditional 30-minute video coming up as well, probably on Easter. So thank you for joining me again in Hopalong Hollow. This is Jerry, and we'll see you next time in the garden.